Good morning, children. How are you all doing? Are you all fine and safe at home? Okay. So, always to keep ourselves healthy and fine, we have to keep our surroundings healthy and hygienic. To keep it hygienic, we have to keep our floors of our houses and everything which we buy from the shops, we have to clean it before using it, and also we have to wash your hands especially after coming from shop. And also you have to instruct your parents, and you can also remind your parents whether they are washing their hands after coming back from work, and you can also help them in cleaning and drying the vegetables after buying from the shops, because we may not know where the virus is present. So we have to be very careful during this situation. You have to wash your hands thoroughly at least for 20 seconds. Then we have to rub all the sides in between the fingers, the nails, front side and back side, every side you have to wash it thoroughly to keep ourselves healthy and hygienic. So we have to protect ourselves from this coronavirus. Okay, children, today let us move into the class. So usually what do we have before going to the class? We will be having some interesting facts. So today also I'm going to give it, but this is going to be some general knowledge question. Last time also we had some interesting fact about animals. Today I'm having the largest and biggest animals or birds. What is the largest living animal in this world? Can you guess it? It is blue whale. Now guess this. What is the largest bird in the world? What is this? Ostrich. Find this one. The smallest bird in the world is? What bird is this, children? This is hummingbird. Okay, now let's recap what all we discussed in the last class. So we saw the basis for classification. We saw the level of organization, symmetry, germ layers, coelom. And finally, we also saw the binomial nomenclature. Level of organization means what? Based on the cells, whether it is unicellular or multicellular, and based on the cells, that is tissues and organs, animals were organized. And then we saw the symmetry. We had two types of symmetry. One is radial symmetry and the other one is bilateral symmetry. In radial symmetry, the body parts are arranged around the central axis, whereas in the bilateral symmetry, the body parts are arranged along the central axis. So when you cut them, you have to get the equal halves. And then we saw the germ layers. We had two types. One is diploblastic, the other one is triploblastic. That is, diploblastic means outer ectoderm and inner endoderm alone will be present. In triploblastic, in between this ectoderm and endoderm, you will have another layer called mesoderm. And then next we saw coeloms. We had three types of coelom. One is acoelom, and then pseudocoelom and coelom. Acoelom means where the body cavity is absent. Pseudocoelom means false body cavity will be present. Coelomates means true coelomate, that is true body cavity will be present. I hope you all remember the examples also for each. And also we saw the further classification based on the backbones. If they possess backbones, then they are called as chordates or vertebrates. If they do not possess backbones, then we call it as invertebrates or non-chordates. In today's class, we are going to see this invertebrates in detail. This invertebrata is further classified into 9 phyla. We are having phylum Porifera, phylum Coelenterata, phylum Platyhelminthes, phylum Ascalminthus, phylum Annelida, and phylum Arthropoda, phylum Mollusca, phylum Echinodermata, and phylum Hemichordata. We are going to discuss the first 6 in detail today. First we have phylum Porifera. They are called as pore bearers because they have small pores on their body. Now listen, first point, multicellular, which means they have many cells in their body. Non-motile aquatic organism. Non-motile means they don't move. Aquatic means they are commonly present in water, mostly in sea water. Commonly called as sponges. cellular grade of organization, which means they were organized based on their cells. Last point, body is perforated with many pores called ostia. Since they have many pores on their body, we call it as, that forms of pores, we call it as ostia. Next point, water enters into the body through ostia and leads to the canal system. So like how we are drinking water through our mouth, for these animals they don't have mouth especially designed on their body. Instead they have pores through which the water enters into their body and which will be taken to their canal system. The body wall contains spicules which form the skeletal framework. The skeletal framework of these animal was based on spicules, which means like sharply pointed objects, you can say, like spines it will be on their outer surface. Then reproduction is by both asexual and sexual methods. Example, Euplectella and Cycon. So these are the pictures of these sponges, that is phylum Porifera, very commonly seen in underwater, that is under the sea water you can find this. Next we have is phylum Coelenterata, example Cnidaria. So you have to pronounce it like Cnidaria, C should be silent. Coelenterates are aquatic organisms, mostly marine and few freshwater forms, which means it is also present in freshwater forms, means like river water, like fresh ponds it will be present, but mostly very commonly it is seen in marine water only. They are also multicellular. Multicellular means they have many cells in their body. Radially symmetrical animals means when you cut this animal you will get equal halves, that is you have to cut through the central axis. So organisms or the organs of this animal are present around the central axis, and it was organized based on the tissue, that is tissue grade of organization. Body wall is diploblastic with two layers, which means they have an outer ectoderm and inner mesoderm. In between this ectoderm and mesoderm they have non-cellular jelly like substance called mesoglia. It has central gastrovascular cavity called coelenteron. So it is having a gastrovascular cavity, which we call it as coelenteron, with the mouth surrounded by short tentacles. Tentacles means it is like a long thread like structure, we'll see in the next picture. The tentacles bear stinging cells called cnidoblast. What do you pronounce it? Cnidoblast or nematocyst. Many coelenterates exhibit polymorphism, which means they show variation in their structure and function in the same species itself, that we call it as polymorphism. Example, hydra and jellyfish. So you can see here long thread like structure, that is what we call it as tentacles. In these tentacles we can see a small stinging cells, which we call it as cnidoblast or nematocyst. Okay, what is this? This is an jellyfish. Another example for this is hydra. This is how the hydra will be looking under the seawater. Next we have is phylum Platyhelminthes, that is flatworms. They are bilaterally symmetrical, which means the organs of this animal are present through the center of their body. So if you cut, you will get two equal halves. And triploblastic, which means they have ectoderm, endoderm and mesoderm germ layers. And acoelomate animals, where the body cavity is absent. Coelom is absent because they are flat in nature. Most of them are parasitic in nature, which means they depend on the other organisms for their food. So to get their food they have to go and attach to some other animal, body of the some other animal. That animal we call it as host. The one who provides food we call it as host. So how it goes and attaches means with the help of these suckers and hooks. So third point, you see suckers and hooks help animal to attach itself to the body of the host. Excretion occurs through a specialized cells called flame cells. They are hermaphrodites, which means the both male and female reproductive organs are present in the same individual itself, that we call it as hermaphrodites. Example, liver fluke. The first picture is liver fluke, next is tapeworm. Next we have phylum Aschelminthes. Examples are roundworms. They are also bilaterally symmetrical. So if you cut, you will get two equal halves. Triploblastic, again they have what is that, ectoderm, endoderm and mesoderm, and they are pseudocoelomate animals, which means they have false body cavity. They exist as free living soil forms or as parasites. So they can live with their own itself. They don't depend on other for food, or sometimes they depend on the other animal also for their food. So if they are in free form, they are commonly seen in soil. If they are parasites, they will be attaching to the host. The body is round and pointed at both the ends. Their sexes are separate here, and they are unsegmented, and their skin is covered by a thin cuticle, that is small hairy like moist layer will be seen on their outer surface. The most common disease caused by nematodes in human beings are elephantiasis and ascariasis. Example, ascaris and Wuchereria. For example, when you take unhealthy food, what will happen? Worms will start growing in your stomach. So that worms are generally this ascaris only. That disease we call it as ascariasis. So this is how it will be present. They have pointed ends. The sexes are separate here. You can see the male and female. Male, they are having a curved tail, but females, it is a just like a thread like structure. So that is the difference between the male and female. So this is Ascaris. Next we have phylum Annelida, segmented worms. These are bilaterally symmetrical, which means when you cut, you will get two equal halves. Triploblastic means they have ectoderm, endoderm and mesoderm, and they are the first true coelomate animals with organ system of gradation. So this animal, this phylum is having an coelomate, which means they are having a body cavity. Body is externally divided into segments called metameres, joined by ring-like structures called annuli. The division, no, you can see a small line on their body. Have you ever seen this black color worms during the rainy season? You can very commonly find this under the coconut trees or any other trees. You can find this. They will be having a segments on their body. So that segments we call it as metameres, and they're joined together by a ring-like structure. We call it as annuli. It is covered by moist thin cuticle, and their locomotory organs are setae and parapodia. Their legs are setae and parapodia. Their sexes may be separate or united. Either they may be present as male or female, or they can also be present as hermaphrodites, which means they have the both male and female organs in the same individual also. Example, Nereus, earthworm and leech. So this is the leech. You can see small lines on their body, that we call it as metameres, and they're joined together, we call it as annuli. So these are the earthworms. Next we have phylum Arthropoda, which means animals having jointed legs. This is the largest phylum of the animal kingdom. They are also bilaterally symmetrical, which means when you cut, you will get two equal halves. They are also triploblastic, having ectoderm, endoderm and mesoderm germ layers, and coelomate animals, which means they have true body cavity. Their body is divided into head, thorax and abdomen, and each segment, can you see the segment in the picture? The lines you can see, no, like round ring like structure. Each segment has a jointed legs. Exoskeleton is made up of chitin, which is a polysaccharide, and is shed periodically as the animal grows. Like how the snake is removing off the shell over its body periodically as it grows, the same way this also sheds the skin periodically as this animal grows, and this process we call it as molting. Body cavity is filled with hemolymph, which means blood, and this blood does not enter into the blood vessels since they have open circular system. The respiration takes place through body surface, gills or trachea, which means air tubes. Excretion takes place through malphigian tubules or green glands, which is very commonly seen in insects also, like cockroaches. Here the sexes are separate. They will be having male and female separately. Examples are prawn, crab, cockroach, centipede, millipede, spider and scorpion. So here are the pictures. So when you see here, this is the centipede. Centi means, what does it refer is centum. What do you say? Which means 100. So this must be having 100 legs, but when they counted, it was having only 30 pairs of legs, which does not justifies their name. And at the same time, if you take millipede, it represents 1000. Milli means 1000, it represents. But when they counted, there were only 100 pairs of legs, but they were named so as centipede and millipede, but that doesn't justify it. So in today's class we have discussed phylum Porifera, that is spore bearers. Example, we saw sponges we saw, and for phylum Coelenterata we saw Cnidaria, that is jellyfishes we saw, and Hydra we saw. Phylum Platyhelminthes, flatworms. Ascomynthus we saw roundworms. Annelida we saw segmented worms, and Arthropoda, that is animals with jointed legs. The next class will see the remaining classification of invertebrates. Thank you, children.